If you are planning to buy a camper van this year, the biggest mistake you can make has nothing to do with the van. It has everything to do with the FIFA World Cup. The 2026 World Cup is the largest tournament ever staged on North American soil. 16 host cities, 104 matches, 39 days, June 11th through July 19, peak summer. And right now, millions of fans are converging on the exact same campgrounds, parking corridors, and urban overnight spots where campervan and motorhome owners, people driving Mercedes Sprinters, Ford Transits, Ram ProMasters, and Class B rigs of every kind, have been quietly living and traveling for years. What's happening to that ecosystem this summer is not a minor inconvenience. It is a campsite crisis, a stadium parking lockout, and a market pricing event that every serious van life buyer needs to understand before they make a decision they're going to regret. I'm going to walk you through exactly what's happening, city by city, with the real numbers, and I'll tell you precisely who should be buying right now, who should wait, and what every van lifer needs to know before this summer runs away from them. The scale problem. Why this summer is different. Start with the scale, because I think most people in the van life community haven't fully absorbed what's coming. June and July are already peak campground season in the United States. National parks, state parks, and private RV parks across the country fill up weeks in advance in a normal year. Now add this. FIFA describes the 2026 tournament as expected to generate one of the largest international fan travel movements ever associated with a sporting event. And the booking data supports that framing. Rental platform Outdoorsy reported inquiries for summer 2026 travel tracking around 11% above the same period last year, and that figure was measured months before kickoff, with bookings still accelerating. The accommodation pressure is real, and it's already showing up in the numbers. Hotel rates around match dates in cities like Los Angeles are exceeding $450 a night, and Miami is running close behind at $435, according to reporting from The Athletic. Those prices aren't driving fans away, they're driving them toward campgrounds and RV parks as the only affordable alternative, and that creates a direct pressure problem for anyone whose van life depends on reliable, predictably priced overnight access. The biggest reservation spikes in the RV market are happening in Florida, California, Pennsylvania, and the Pacific Northwest, exactly the states containing the densest clusters of World Cup host cities. Wait until you see what happened to campground prices near Boston and Los Angeles. But before we get there, the parking situation around the stadiums themselves is something almost nobody in this community has been talking about. The parking lockout. Here is what has quietly happened at several major World Cup venues, and it matters to van lifers specifically because it reshapes the enforcement environment around these cities for the entire summer. At MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, which is hosting the July 19 final, there is zero on-site spectator parking. None. Fans who want to drive must pre-purchase off-site spots through FIFA's official parking partner, JustPark, at prices that have reached $225 per vehicle for marquee fixtures. The American Dream Mall complex nearby is absorbing roughly 5,000 of those displaced parking spaces. That's it for the World Cup final in the New York metro area. Boston's Gillette Stadium has gone further. It has officially banned tailgating for all World Cup matches. Their own matchday checklist now reads, "No tailgating. Eating and drinking around parked cars is not permitted for these events." This is NFL country. Patriots fans have been doing pregame in that lot for decades. That tradition has been suspended under FIFA's security perimeter requirements. And FIFA's own statement, when asked about restrictions, confirmed that site-specific restrictions may be imposed in alignment with host city public safety authorities. In plain language, individual cities can add restrictions beyond what FIFA mandates, and several already have. Now here's where the part that directly affects van campers who aren't attending a single match. The expanded security perimeters and car-free matchday plans don't end at the stadium fence. Cities are drawing traffic management zones. Law enforcement presence in the surrounding corridors is elevated during match windows. The informal overnight spots, the side streets near urban cores, the industrial lots, the quiet residential areas near transit that vanlifers have used in these cities for years are under meaningfully higher scrutiny this summer. Not because there's a new law, because the human infrastructure around enforcement has been multiplied. If you're planning to free camp or stealth camp in any of the 11 U.S. host cities between June 11th and July 19, understand that this is the wrong summer to test that approach. So where do you actually go, and what is it going to cost? The price numbers I'm about to show you are some of the sharpest I've seen in covering this market. The price shock, real campground numbers. Let's put real numbers on this because van life financial planning tends to rely on campground cost assumptions built in a pre-event tourism world. Hospitality data firm RMS and outdoor travel platform Spot2Night published an analysis of RV park pricing within 50 miles of U.S. World Cup host cities for the June 10th to 20th window. Their data showed that online RV park availability in those corridors tripled year on year as operators rushed to list inventory and capture tournament demand. And the pricing reflected it. In markets like Boston, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Philadelphia, average nightly rates for RV parks were running between $97 and $190 for that window. Houston emerged as the most variable market, the largest cluster of listed parks among all host cities, with nightly rates ranging from $41 on the low end to $223 on the high end, averaging around $73. Dallas and Kansas City were more moderate at $65 to $68 on average, though those figures also represent operators that may not yet be pricing for full tournament demand. Compare that to what most van life planning content tells you to expect. Typical full hookup private RV sites run around $65 to $100 in peak season. Government campgrounds, national parks, state parks usually run $20 to $45. Those numbers are still accurate outside the host city corridors this summer. Inside them, you're looking at nearly double in several major markets. And here's a structural point that extends past July 19. Some of these operators are using this summer to test dynamic pricing models. The pricing behavior they establish in 2026 does not automatically reset to 2024 afterwards. When operators learn what a premium event window supports, they carry that knowledge forward. That's not speculation. It's what happened in markets near Formula One venues and major music festivals when those events went on the road. The pricing floor got repriced permanently. At this point, you might be thinking, so should I just wait until the tournament's over and buy in August? Not necessarily, and here's where I'm going to say something most van channels won't.
The controversial insight. For some buyers, 2026 is actually the right time. I'm going to say something most RV YouTubers won't. For the right buyer, the World Cup could actually make 2026 one of the better years to purchase a campervan, if you know exactly what you're looking for and why. Here's the argument. The campervan and motorhome resale market in the USA has been correcting since 2022, the pandemic-era bubble, when used Class B campervans and Sprinter conversions were trading at 30 to 40% above MSRP, deflated significantly as inventory recovered and demand normalized. Dealer lots that were empty in 2021 are carrying real inventory again. And right now, there are early signs of an additional layer of selling pressure worth paying attention to. We're beginning to see listings from sellers who appear to have purchased vans, particularly Class B campervans and converted Ford Transit and Sprinter rigs with World Cup travel in mind, and who are now discovering what that travel actually involves. No stadium parking, campground rates well above what they budgeted, and the operational complexity of van life during a mega-event summer month. Whether that segment grows into a meaningful supply wave remains to be seen, but the pattern is plausible, and if you're monitoring platforms like RV Trader and Outdoorsy Private Sales right now, it's worth watching. The smart move in this environment, if you're a buyer with a genuine long-term use case, is not to wait for some ideal neutral market, it's to shop with criteria. A well-maintained 2020 to 2023 Mercedes Sprinter 144 or 170 Extended, or a Ford Transit 148 high-roof conversion if you're buying a custom-built. In the Class B category, the Winnebago Solus and the Thor Sequence both have strong dealer support and active owner communities. Those are the rigs with the best combination of depreciation curves, owner community resources, and long-term reliability data. Motivated sellers are real. The question is whether your use case justifies buying now versus September. What I'd warn against with real conviction, buying a camper van because of the World Cup with the intention of renting it out through Outdoorsy or RV Share during the tournament window. That strategy is being attempted by a lot of first-time buyers right now. The rental market in host cities is heavily dominated by professional fleet operators who have been optimizing yield on this window for over a year. The individual owner with a single Sprinter conversion is not going to outcompete them on pricing, availability, or logistics. The tournament rental income story almost never pencils out the way first-time buyers expect it to. So who should actually buy right now and who should wait? I'm going to be specific. Practical takeaway: who should buy, who should wait. Buy now if you're a retiree, a couple, or a full-time planner who has been researching for 6 months or more. Your use case is the next several years of travel, not a summer tournament, and you have the patience to work with a motivated seller. For that buyer, the current market is genuinely favorable. The key is to do your summer travel away from the 16 host city corridors. The Mountain West, the Upper Midwest, the Pacific Northwest north of Seattle, outside the host city corridors. You'll generally avoid most tournament-related congestion. Just be aware that popular national parks like Yellowstone and Glacier will still see their normal peak season crowds regardless of the World Cup. Route around them or book well ahead. My specific model recommendations in this market: a 2020 to 2023 Mercedes Sprinter 144 or 170 Extended, or a Ford Transit 148 high-roof conversion if you're buying a custom-built. In the Class B category, the Winnebago Solus and the Thor Sequence both have strong dealer support and active owner communities. Those are the rigs with the best combination of depreciation curves, owner community resources, and long-term reliability data. Wait if. Imagine finally buying your dream Sprinter, driving 2,000 miles to watch your national team, and discovering that every campground within an hour of the stadium is sold out, and the one site you found is charging $190 a night. That is not a hypothetical. That is exactly what current booking data and campground pricing trends point toward for Philadelphia, Boston, and Los Angeles, and it's what buyers who skipped the operational homework are walking into. If you're a first-time buyer whose interest was sparked by the World Cup and who is still in the early stages of understanding van life basics, this is not the right learning environment. The operational complexity of managing a camper van in a major metro area during a security-heightened, campground-constrained, traffic-maximized event is steep even for experienced owners. Buy in September. A second wave of motivated sellers, people who tried World Cup van life and found the gap between the dream and the execution too wide, is likely to create another supply opportunity in the fall. The European angle. For viewers in the UK, Germany, France, and broader Europe, you have a version of this problem that's worth understanding separately. European Summer 2026 is being shaped by the outbound fan movement to North America. Transatlantic charter and commercial pricing to World Cup host cities has pushed travel costs significantly higher, and rental fleet inventory in U.S. host city pickup locations, particularly for newer Class B camper vans in Florida, California, and the Northeast, is tighter than it typically is for summer. If you're a European buyer planning to purchase or rent in North America, September and October 2026 is one of the most compelling windows for value in recent years. Tournament demand will have cleared, fall shoulder season pricing applies, and rental operators who expanded fleets to meet World Cup demand will be motivated to keep inventory moving. If a North American campervan purchase or extended rental trip has been on your list, that fall window is worth building a plan around. Here's my honest position on all of this. The World Cup 2026 is being marketed to the van life community as an opportunity. Buy now, rent your van out to Outdoorsy, follow your team city to city. The rental platforms are running the ads, the campground booking apps are sending the push notifications. And I'm not going to tell you those companies are wrong. There is a market here, and for the right person, it's real. But for anyone making a van life decision that's supposed to last a decade, a retirement plan, a genuine lifestyle change, a $60,000 to $150,000 financial commitment, buying a camper van because of a 6-week event is almost always the wrong frame. The event ends, the van doesn't, and the buyers who will be most frustrated in 2027 and 2028 are the ones who let tournament excitement short-circuit the research process they should have spent another 6 months completing. The smart buyers I've talked to are doing one of two things: either moving now with clear long-term criteria and planning to avoid the host city corridors entirely, or waiting in September when the dust settles and the motivated seller pool is likely to be larger than it is today. Here's where I land. The biggest mistake isn't buying a campervan in 2026, it's buying it for the wrong reason. 6 weeks of football should never decide a purchase you'll be living with for the next 10 years. If you're watching this and actively in the buying process right now, drop a comment and tell me, are you holding off because of the tournament, or are you using this window to move while other buyers are distracted? I want to know which camp you're in.